Astrobot is a phenomenon right now.
Goes near enough toe-to-toe with Nintendo's best efforts.
I'd probably struggle to find anything below a 9.
As high a compliment as I can give it.
Buy 2 copies, one for yourself and one for someone you care about.
I had a big smile on my face playing this game.
I think even the most cynical person, the most cynical player can have a smile playing this.
Wonderful platformer. One that never runs out of ways to bring you joy.
Maybe perhaps the best PS5 game ever released.
Like, I honestly, I'll put this right up there with Odyssey and Super Mario 64 as far as, like, you know, GOAT 3D platformers for me. I think this is one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played.
It might be hard to see how Astrobot got all of the accolades and success if you look at the game on a surface level. Admittedly, I also slept on it at my first glance as well. Like, come on, I've already played this game like 10 years ago. But the book revealed much more than the cover let on. Beyond being an incredibly fun, well-designed video game, Astrobot is a joyous celebration of not only PlayStation's history, but platformers and gaming as a whole. A lot of us could feel it. We needed something to fill the Mario Odyssey-sized hole in our hearts. Don't get me wrong, Mario Wonder's a great game and all, but it didn't quite scratch the itch that I was looking for, you know? It's been way too long since we've had a 3D platformer on this level, and the overwhelmingly positive response to this game is proof of that. There's another important reason why this game is as highly praised as it is that you'll often hear in lots of reviews for Astrobot: the nostalgia. Hearing that, you may assume it's because it features characters and levels from some of PlayStation's most beloved games and franchises, but it's so much more than that. It's the feeling of it.
Hello!
It's the feeling of getting Mario Galaxy for Christmas and experiencing a childlike joy that is rarely felt as an adult. There was a point when I was playing Astrobot where I literally stopped playing because of the raw emotions of feeling like a kid hit me so incredibly hard. I genuinely can't remember the last time any video game made me feel that way. I wasn't sure if any game could make me feel that way ever again. It was such a beautiful moment that I'm not going to be forgetting anytime soon. And I knew right there and then that this game was truly special. It's hard to really explain how this game's nostalgia had such a profound effect on me if you didn't grow up playing games like I did. If you haven't played it yet and want to dive into it after the praise, I cannot recommend it enough. It's hard to understand unless you play it for yourself. Parents, buy this game for your kids, boyfriends, girlfriends, best friends, whoever you know with a PS5 who doesn't have this game yet. I promise, this will be the best gift you can get them that's under $100. God, what an amazing game, man. It was also there for me during some difficult moments in my life where I needed something to take my mind off of things, and Astrobot was just the perfect medicine. If you know me or watch this channel, then you might realize that this level of high praise is pretty uncharacteristic for me. Not because I don't think there hasn't been other games in recent years that I loved or didn't have an effect on me. There certainly have been. Quite a few of my favorite games of all time are games I've played in the past like 5 years or so. Even for the games that I love, I can usually pick them apart or criticize them to some extent, even if those criticisms don't change how I feel about those games. I'm a firm believer that a lot of things I love dearly can still be better in some way, even if it's the littlest of things. It can still be improved upon. But genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I can't think of any real criticisms of this game. And believe me, I fucking tried. I soul-searched real hard to find anything I could criticize this game over, to no avail. There's all but one singular, nitpicky-ass criticism I could possibly think of that in no way affects the quality of the experience whatsoever, that could be argued as personal preference if we're being honest. Here's my singular, nitpicky-ass criticism that in no way affects the quality of the game that could low-key be argued as personal preference. Akin to a lot of the elements Nintendo likes to put into their games, Astrobot occasionally adds gameplay features that in some way requires you to physically interact with the controller in a unique way, like motion controls or blowing into the microphone. For example, the monkey power-up requires you to lift one side of the controller, press either R2 or L2, lift the other side of the controller to grab the ledge, and then rinse repeat until you've climbed to the top of whatever you're climbing. And I found this very specific power-up to feel a little bit clunky in execution, but really, it's not that bad at all. It's just that when a game's design and feel is so razor tight, anything that might feel even the slightest bit off or clunky, it sticks out just a little bit more. Even then, that's just my experience with it, and it didn't even really affect my enjoyment of the game at all. I was having so much fun playing that I didn't even really mind. And the fact that this was the only thing that stuck out to me says a lot about how amazingly designed this game actually is. But I think it would be nice to have the option for different control schemes for certain power-ups or actions. Specifically for the people who aren't the biggest fan of motion controls, or for lack of a better word, gimmicky types of controls. I'm not even saying that to suggest that the gimmicky controls in this game are gimmicky in a bad way, but I think it's a win-win for everybody for their games to have more accessibility options. There's no harm in adding accessibility options like that for any game, but I can also respect fully committing to a creative vision. This is the way they wanted the game to be played no matter what, and I respect that. And of course, enhancing the entire experience is the presentation of it all. To nobody's surprise, this game is visually gorgeous and colorful while running at a basically perfect frame rate. I can hardly remember a time where this game crashed or dipped in frame rate at any point. I like how they'll occasionally put a ton of little interactable items in a room, all with their own physics, just to flex how powerful the PS5 is. That is the kind of tech demo glazing I can get behind. Just random little things like that they added for funsies, you know? Another funny example is the Hub World song. In the Hub World, the song progressively introduces new elements as you collect all of the parts for the PS5 spaceship. This small detail makes the progression of this game feel more complete, and it adds a level of satisfaction in completing everything. This is one of the few games where I actually went out of my way to find as many secrets as possible. Most games I play, I usually go out of my way to find secrets if I'm interested in some capacity. This game actually added incentives to find as many bots as possible, and I actually found them all myself. I enjoyed my time so much that I replayed any level where I missed bots multiple times because I wanted to find them all organically. That is extremely rare for me. In most games, if I want to progress but not take a ton of time doing something specific, I have zero shame in searching up answers. You can say whatever you want, but I'm not big on doing something that feels like a waste of time when I could be progressing through the game. Nothing in Astrobot felt like a waste of time to me. Nothing in this game felt off or out of place. Every design detail feels purposeful and carefully crafted. I can feel the passion and the thought that went into every decision they made for this game. It's a bold choice just naming this game Astrobot. Considering it's not a massive franchise that wasn't really that popular in any way, it speaks on the level of confidence they had for what they made. It could have easily been called like PlayStation All-Stars 2 or something like that. That probably would have driven more attention towards this game. It gives me a similar vibe to that one cover of Halo 2 or the 1989 Batman movie poster. Just a simple, eye-catching logo that tells you everything you need to know. It's just saying, yeah, you know what this is. It's hard to deny the DNA this game carries. The inspiration very clearly runs pretty deep from Mario Galaxy, but this game doesn't feel like it's copying it at all. It's difficult to achieve that balance. Ask yourself, how do you make a game that gives you similar feelings without copying Nintendo's homework? I'd only give Astrobot the edge because I believe it is the better designed game. But don't get my intentions mixed up in saying that. I don't say that with the purpose of sparking debates or arguments about what game is better, because everyone's experience is relative, and what's perceived as better is in the eyes of the beholder. Mario Galaxy holds a special place in my heart because it was a unique experience that profoundly affected me as a child, and I've come full circle to that feeling all these years later with Astrobot. The inspiration for Astrobot may come from Mario Galaxy, but truthfully, that doesn't matter. They're both cut from the same cloth despite being totally different games. In the end, it has nothing to do with the games at all, but the intention in which these games are made. The emotion behind it. Capturing the innocence and wonder and exploring something new and exciting. There's a level of passion instilled in these games that's rarely seen in the video game industry, and despite what some people say about video games, it's such a powerful medium. So powerful that the emotions and creativity on display transcends words. It's an experience unique to anything else. Despite what people say, real human art, passion, emotion, and creativity is more valuable than most people can truly comprehend. It cannot be replicated by something that's not human. It goes even beyond human understanding. That's what real art inspires. Video games can capture so many different emotions, and the raw joy this game gave me was a sharp reminder of that. I think this is something both Nintendo and now Team Asobi understood and put real effort into showing the world exactly that. Real love and passion for something is unquantifiable. Team Asobi very clearly has a deep-rooted passion for the medium of video games and platformers as a genre. That's pretty rare nowadays. I think gaming as a whole needed this game. I personally needed it as well, and I didn't even know it at the time. It's funny how things in your life can come as you need them sometimes, isn't it? Not just because it's a great 3D platformer, but we needed the refreshing energy and perspective this game brings. Which might sound funny because it's just a silly little platformer about a robot saving PlayStation characters from a big green alien. Astrobot is one of the rare examples of an uncompromised creative vision whose only goal was to bring joy to anyone playing. And that's a beautiful thing that needs to be celebrated. The world's a cynical place, and we live in a society where everything is being optimized for the benefit of the ones who don't care about us. But Astrobot says, hold on to that childish, uncorrupted joy that still lives within you. Use that, and you will make the world a better place. And at the center of that are the artists who continue to push humanity forward. One of the biggest factors that makes this game stand out amongst the crowd is due in part to the gaming landscape that exists today. Unfortunately, a lot of the conversations happening around video games now has nothing to do with the quality of any new games coming out. How well a game is selling, or how many people are streaming a game on Twitch, are the most discussed metrics because people don't care about the medium of video games. Those people don't care about the well-being of this industry. They care about the content and the opportunities that content provides them. Rarely is a game's impact on the individuals playing those games ever really discussed. Years and years of a development team's blood, sweat, and tears are essentially boiled down to a W or an L. If this game doesn't provide content, then so-called gaming journalists will talk about something else that will. And I understand why developers are moving in this direction. One viral clip can change an entire studio's career. It's not a secret that Fortnite has unleashed a tidal wave of changes and effects on the video game industry. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like free-to-play being normalized or battle passes. Here's what I mean by that. Before the era of streaming and content, games were developed for two reasons: making money and the love of the game. Genuinely making a good video game. Obviously, lots of developers made games for the sole purpose of making money without considering the user experience, which is why so many games coming out, even now, are lazy and uninspired. Games now are made under a different purpose. Take Lethal Company, another game that has inspired change in the industry. A fun game that clearly got lots of effort and passion behind it that became a rare phenomenon in the industry. A game whose design just so happened to be good for content, so it got a lot of momentum as a result of that. It was entertaining to watch while also being a good game. That's a win-win for everybody. Following the success of this game and Fortnite 2, games are now being made with the intention of content. Fortnite is just one of the earliest examples of this, with its collaborations in the early seasons, launching it into unseen virality on the internet. No doubt, Lethal Company has inspired many fun and exciting games in the past few years, but these games are clearly designed around being good for content, not the other way around. To be clear, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it's just an observation of the current state of the gaming industry. With the rise of gaming content comes a lack of passion and a rise in opportunity. Opportunities for the average person to benefit from the work of others, and developers are giving the tools necessary to do so. That's just one of the many ways companies are adapting to the era of the internet. Hidden gems are left in the dirt, buried by games that allowed people to make content or push narratives that benefit them. Even games that fail massively in the industry will be remembered more than quality games being made by a small team of 5 or 10 people. This exact disparity is the battle between art versus content. When you view a form of art in an opportunistic manner, when art becomes a commodity, it loses its magic.
I realized something about magic. The magic behind magic isn't the illusion. It's that someone cared enough to create the illusion for you. The real magic is all of the work that goes into making somebody believe that magic is real.
It's unfortunate the way supposed game journalists and media are doing a disservice to so many people for their own agendas. It can be upsetting to see how people will throw something truly impactful under the bus for the sake of brownie points by strangers on the internet. But more importantly, for this video, everything I discussed is precisely why Astrobot shines amongst the crowd. It's so rare for a game's media coverage to actually match the quality of the game itself. And all it took was for a team of dedicated and passionate people to make a massive impact on millions. That's really special. Team Asobi is obviously not your average team of developers. They're working under a budget and tools that many devs could only dream of. But real art, passion, and creativity is unquantifiable. Sadly, we've reached a point where gaming isn't even really about games anymore, or having fun. And when did gaming stop being about having fun?
Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shooting star leaping through the sky.